end. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of
Hello, I'm Runya, aka Media Adaptation, and welcome back to a moderation while means for a game. And I hope you had a happy new year. But it's once again time to hit the grindstone. And this will be our fourth part of our research into the supposed lost anime, Saki Sanobashi, aka Go for a Punch. A mystery that has gripped message boards for the past 5 years now. A tale of captivity turned bloody, and with very few clues as to if it actually existed. There is a popular theory that the OG poster watched a bunch of similar animes back to back and might have confused two like ones together. And while that probability is pretty high, but if so, then what were those two animes to begin with? Oh, and speaking of other possibilities, apparently since the last time that we looked at this, someone claiming to be the original poster stepped forward and said that it was all a hoax, that it was all done for a laugh. This is more than likely just a troll, since there's no way to validate this claim. Heck, I visited the website back then. I could pull some of my IP records and make a better case of me being the original poster than they did. So in short, if there's something that I've learned while researching this project, is that you have to take every post with a grain of salt. And that's kinda why I feel like we need to properly explain each topic we cover. And speaking of which, let's get back to it. Our first one on the block today is... oh god, these names are not getting any easier to pronounce. Uzuki Kanako Zekuyo Collection Kaku ga Kowari. Please post down in the comments below of how badly I just screwed that up. This is one that was made in 1999, so it's right at our cutoff point. And it still does use the 60s art style, much like that Kuchisaki Onna manga we looked at a while back. But the animation itself is done digitally, so that's an immediate strike against it. There is gore, and the story of itself does merit a proper look at later down the line. But in short, no. Strangely, one of his mangas called Your Story comes a bit closer, with some of the imagery that we're looking for. But that's about it. Oh, and that brings me to a point that we also need to talk about. The question that some people have posed is, does a manga of this actually exist? Or maybe, would it have existed? Some people just easily brush it off, saying, no, it was clearly mentioned to be an anime. And I would like to point out that it is possible. Case in point, Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, one of Miyazaki's early work that was also made around this time, coming right off his success with Lupin III. He couldn't get this project greenlit until he made a manga to serve as a storyboard for the higher-up. So given the time period that we're looking at, if it is real, then a manga of it is highly probable. Next up, people suggested the anime The Karakuri, aka Eternal Paradise or Limitless Paradise, by Hiroshi Harada, made in 1981. And due to Japan at the time, there's a lot of speculation about his work, i.e. if this anime clip is even what it's from or not. But we can safely mark this one off the list, primarily on the grounds of it being listed as a slice-of-life story, as well as being marked G-rated. Again, a few of the ones that we looked at before were also marked G. It was the 80s. It was a very weird time for proper labeling. But at the very least, it means it contained no nudity. Then we got something really odd called NOP, which consists of 3 8-minute clips, each followed by a name: Yuko, Michiro, and Kaori. And it involves a dress with a flower pattern that, as soon as you receive it, you'll then fall into misfortune, as Michiro dies in a car crash, Kaori goes insane and just locks herself away, And then we have Yuko, which is why I think this was originally suggested. She's at a party and then something goes awry, and she pulls a deadly premonition, bending backwards and then grabbing her senpai's throat. He rightfully freaks out and pushes her away, and she falls out the window and her dress just fades away. Again, this is a very odd anime. And the more perplexing thing is I have no other information about this. So, please post down below if you have any ideas, because I am at a loss. Another one that looked promising was the Karachi Files, from 1996. And it is the right art style, and does have an emphasis on human-level crimes and not something like magic or ghosts. But aside from some blood, there is no real gore. So it's more in the line of something like Case Closed. And finally, no, it's nothing to do with the anime Here is Greenwood. She has purplish pink hair, not white. And is also another slice of life. Well, I guess that about does it for all of your suggestions this week. But we'll continue our research. Again, if you have any leads you'd like me to look at, even if there's no validity to it, we'll at least give it a fair chance. And like our times before, we'll be posting our follow-up video to this next Friday. So, I hope to see you then. And that about does it for this video. If you have any other ideas like to make to a video, then please post it down in the comments below, and we'll add it to our next viewer request week.
It's now time for the part of the show where we ask you to help us appease the YouTube algorithm by dropping a like, share, or comment. It helps out much more than you'd think.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, then it's very much appreciated. And if you'd like to support this channel, then please visit our Patreon. Link will be down in the description below. Even if you can't give a lot, every little bit helps. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Anyway, I'm Runya.
And I'm Ada.
Remind you to take life in moderation.
Weep not, poor children, for love.